This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Fast Break Podcast. I am your fear-filled host, Dave Oster. Sitting across from me is the original mad child himself, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys? You got
and
a full...
I am not Sean Anderson.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a full head of hair.
Yeah,
check it out, spot. Yeah, Dave's like, I can show them it.
I'm going to break a little.
I like the one comment that's like, because he made a comment about it on the podcast, and one of the comments was like, come on, Sean, 4 hymns, man.
I saw forhymns.com.
Don't meet Snoop Dogg there. You gotta beat me there. Don't meet me there.
Oh my god, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Shout out to you guys for that. But yeah, no, we are giving you a special edition because trade news happens
Shit's
all
about
the
to
time.
Go down.
And we got lucky. We were in the studio doing Too Old to Game. Shout out to Too Old to Game, another great podcast on MVP Network.
Like, shout out to us.
Yep, shout out to us. Literally just us two sitting here. But the Atlanta Hawks and Brooklyn Nets made a trade. It is a big deal for both teams, and we will get into why shortly. But I want to also give you guys a heads up. We're going to be doing a live stream of the Fast Break Podcast Saturday. You guys are going to see the notifications go live. You're going to see, a special time and date because we do want to start going live more. So
yeah, it will be Saturday.
Yep.
But we just don't know what time because we might be doing the EA play. We still haven't decided on that.
Yeah.
So depending on if we do or don't, that'll be early afternoon, late afternoon. You'll get the update if you follow us.
Make sure to follow us on Twitch to get that update when we do go live, though. But Ricky, let's get into it.
But Dave.
Huge trade for a lot of reasons. Can you read me the specifics of the deal itself?
So the Woj, let's see if Twitter saved my Woj tweet that I had up. It's basically the Nets.
I can give the exact one if you don't have it.
The Nets and Hawks made a deal. Alan Crabb is going to the Hawks along with the 17th overall pick and next year's protected first-round pick. Taurean Prince goes to the Nets for a second-round pick next year?
In 2021.
2021, so 2 years.
So Brooklyn ends up Alan Crabb and 17 and the 2020 protected leaving town, which let's start with Brooklyn.
Big.
Let's start with Brooklyn, boys. This means that they have the room to give 2 max contracts because Alan Crabb was making money. Taurean Prince making about $2 million. I think Crabb's 17. I'm going to ballpark that off the top of my head. Which they've opened up their space. They can go 2 maxes.
Taurean Prince is 2.5 in 2018.
Huge money gap. So this means 2 max spaces. Kyrie Irving was seen in New York partying with some Nets players. Ricky, are you reading between the lines? Because Stephen A. Smith already said it.
As soon as Stephen A. Smith said it was official, like, there is a guy with a finger on the pulse, and his name is Stephen A. Smith.
You don't get to say that often.
Well, you don't. But when it comes to things like this, like when he's got Kyrie's people texting him saying, get that Kyrie to LA stuff out of your mouth, I'm going to believe him. And I'm going to say, like, I thought that KD and Kyrie were going to New York.
Maybe they
now
are.
I'm thinking it's maybe just Kyrie. Or maybe just KD and Kyrie's going to Brooklyn.
Maybe they're both going to New York.
Both going to Brooklyn?
But they're both going to Brooklyn.
I don't know. I don't know if Kevin Durant will go to Brooklyn. I think it's somebody else that may go there.
It's the hot scene, man. Could you imagine that team? So let's say, for today's purposes, for right now, they're going to go ahead and add Kyrie Irving to this Nets team, this young, growing Nets team. That gives them their 1 max that was open.
Yeah.
They still have D'Angelo Russell's RFA rights.
He's gone. The reason why I say he's gone is I feel like there's a team. I've seen the T-Wolves rumors that they're going to actively pursue him. The Mavs could pursue him. The Jazz could pursue him. Now that the rumors are that Kyrie's going there, I think one of these teams is going to say, here's your contract, D'Lo.
Max money.
Your move. Do you want to waste your max spot on D'Lo? And the Nets are going to go, all right. It was fun having you, but you're going to walk and go to a different team because I don't think he's on the plan for that other max slot.
No, but they don't have, like, here's what they can do. They can sign Kyrie, they can sign Kevin Durant, and then give the max to D'Lo and just pay luxury tax because RFA rights allow him to re-sign over the cap space. So it's not a guarantee he's gone.
But do you want to do that as the Nets?
Your backcourt would be Kyrie Irving, main ball handler, D'Angelo Russell, secondary ball handler, which we all thought he was anyway. He really stepped up for the Nets, though, last year after Karras went down. But could you imagine those two as your backcourt? You can run Karras at the 3. You run Dinwiddie off the bench, or you run Karras off the bench with him. And then you could be adding Kevin Durant to that team. Holy shit, people. And you still have Jared Allen at the 5.
I don't.
You got Rodions at the 4. You got Zion Musa off the bench.
The reason why I'm not thinking that is when it comes to KD,
Yeah.
I think there's only 3 possibilities for KD.
All right.
There's the Knicks, there's the Warriors, and then the wild card is the Clippers. Like, those are the 3 teams.
Why not the Nets?
Because the thing I look at is with Kevin Durant, I feel like if he's going to go to New York, he personally has already kind of decided in his head the Knicks are the place. Like, everything
Why is
we've
that?
heard.
Because he
everything
wants to
we've
play
heard
with
is
Kyrie
the
Irving.
95th. See, but that's the I don't know if, like,
We've heard everything up to this point was they're going to play together. And Kevin Durant's only going to go if he's going to get a buddy with him. Now Kyrie is basically, we're planting a flag. He's going to be a net in months. And you're saying that Kevin Durant's going to be like, no, I don't want to go play with Kyrie all of a sudden.
The one thing that Stephen, and bringing Stephen A. back into it, and this was a month ago, he said there was a possibility, it was a 95, the thing he heard was 95% chance KD is a Knick. But the thing about KD is he could change his mind.
It ain't done till it's done.
Until that ink has dried,
Yep.
KD can change his mind. He's been known to change his mind on a whim. I just think personally that if KD is not going to go to the Knicks, it's going to be to re-sign with the Warriors. Or the Clippers could make a push at him and say, hey, come to LA. And the whole thing with KD is like, of course, we don't know what's going on in his head. But what does the Nets thing do for his legacy? Where for me, the Warrior thing doesn't do much for your legacy. It's just continuing to try to win rings.
As it stands, can we just clarify that we're in a series where the Warriors are down 1-2.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's looking at a potential return. And if he comes back and ends up winning them a series, that's helping his legacy. Can we just admit that? That would help his legacy a lot.
I mean, yeah. That if he came
that
back,
is a Goliath-like swing.
I don't even know if he's going to come back. I have a feeling we're not going to see him in these finals.
Wow.
I have a feeling he won't come back.
We will have to wait and see on that one. But I think that I think that his legacy is not written in stone yet with the Warriors. I think there's still more for him to do. The Clippers thing, I'm losing interest in because it looks like Kawhi Leonard. You know, I get it. If he's able to win a championship for the North, holy shit, what is that? I mean, that's a different story.
But the thing I'll throw out,
he's leaving. Uncle Dennis.
The thing I'll throw out with that is there's that, but also look at LeBron.
Yep.
LeBron won a championship for Cleveland.
Yeah.
That necessarily didn't mean he was going to stay in Cleveland. So
he signed one more year.
The thing with Toronto is I don't know if Kawhi winning a championship in Toronto is enough to keep him there.
I agree. It's not a guarantee, but it's just interesting that it's all of the stuff's piling on.
Yeah.
But I think the Kyrie thing's the biggest attachment. That's KD's buddy. That's one of his better friends. They hang out in the offseason. They work out together. And in my mind, that is the one that if we're locking in on Kyrie going to the Nets, I'm thinking KD, that 95% chance of the Knicks just got slashed. Got slashed through, and it's looking like there's a better chance that he ends up a Knick than a net.
Well,
I'm sorry, there's a net than a Knick.
It all comes down to one thing, and I know this is I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to spoil a topic for Saturday.
Absolutely not.
The biggest thing will be now, because the ball's in the Knicks' court. So let's say you're right. Kyrie going to the Nets is pulling KD over Brooklyn's way.
Yep.
The Knicks then, in my mind, with this news coming out, they need to make a draft night trade for Anthony Davis. They need to make a trade before July 1st for Anthony Davis, because if they were able to do that on draft night, then that would be like all right.
We've got
you picking? You picking Anthony Davis? You picking Kyrie Irving? Which one do you want to go with?
I'm taking Kyrie Irving because Karis LeVert is on that team too. Because you could return D'Angelo Russell, which isn't a guarantee at this point in time. But I mean, that's a team that made it to the playoffs, man. That is, whew.
I honestly
How
think...
do you not love that? Like, that's a team, instead of being the worst team in the league, you could get to a team that's a playoff team already with a bunch of young up-and-coming players And
it's the Nets are more intriguing to the fact
by
of,
far.
like you said, they're a playoff team, and then they add these two pieces. But the thing with Kevin Durant that I just want to spoil is no matter what team he goes to, they're a playoff team. He's not going to be. It's not going to be a LeBron James situation where
if LeBron
he's
didn't get
go
hurt,
somewhere.
he would have been a playoff team.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever team KD goes to, they're going to make the playoffs, especially in the East.
Yeah.
Especially in the East, I think if you added KD to the Knicks team this year, he could have willed them to the 8th seed.
Maybe. I'm not even going to lock that in. I'll give it maybe.
They were also tanking for Zion because they didn't have KD and they wanted Zion to pair with KD. But no, this to me throws a wrench into everything. Does KD come over? Is it something where, because the Nets I've seen as I've been putting together our mock draft for not this week, but next week.
Right.
The things I've been seeing on the Anthony Davis front is the Nets could be an outside team. Now, of course, them trading this 17th overall pick, I don't know how that helps them to get Anthony Davis, because if you get Anthony Davis, you're not going to get a guy like Kyrie or a guy like KD.
Yep.
Or if they're thinking, hey, KD's not even in our mindset because we think he's going to go to New York, could the Nets try to finagle a deal to, do they try to bring Anthony Davis over and pair him with Kyrie? Do they try to go after Jimmy Butler and pair him with Kyrie? Do they even try to make a push for Kawhi Leonard and pair Kawhi with Kyrie? It's not just KD or bust for the Nets.
In order, Anthony Davis, no. I would not give up the capital it would take to get AD
I don't think they
over
have
here.
the capital to
They
beat
could do
out
a
the
sign and
Celtics.
trade with D'Lo. That's the only thing.
They could, but I think the Celtics and Knicks will have more ammunition in the form of draft picks.
If they give up their picks, I mean, we've heard rumors, Celtics give 17 picks and the team turned them down. Why would they do such a thing?
You hearing that from Danny Ainge, Dave? You hearing that from Danny Ainge?
Danny Ainge, bless your heart. Hopefully you are healthy. I heard about your dietary changes. I hope that helps you long term. But Jesus Christ, I will never forgive you for the stupid shit that comes out of the mouths of people, insiders, talking about the trades that you reportedly have, offered teams and they turned down for no reason.
Apparently, Tyler Hero went off for 81 of 100 3-pointers. Celtics are very impressed by him at workouts.
Yeah.
So Tyler Hero might be a Boston Celtic.
Tyler Hero could be a Celtic. Cam Johnson, or not, I'm sorry. Cam looks like, not Johnson, Reddish.
Yeah.
Looks like a stud playing against a chair. He's best athlete on the court. So I don't know. There's so many of those. I love individual workout stories. It's just a fun time of year. Getting back to the Anthony Davis thing, though, I don't think they pulled the trigger on that. I think Jimmy Butler is like an upgraded version of Karis LeVert. I wouldn't waste the money for that difference. I would go after like a Kawhi Leonard, but I feel like if he's going anywhere, he's got his mind made up. He's going to L.A., or he's staying in the North. I don't see him going to an outside team. I feel like that one's fairly narrow.
Yeah, with me in the same, I told Jake in our Discord, he's like, now if they could get Jimmy, that'd be interesting. In my mind, Jimmy's going two places. He's either staying in Philly if they give him that extra year,
right,
or he's going to LA to play with LeBron.
Yeah.
That's the two things that I feel. And with Kawhi, I'm on the same boat as you. He's either, especially if they win the finals. If they lose, then it changes. But right now, being up 2-1, if they win, he's either staying a Raptor or he's going to Los Angeles to be a Clipper.
So let's wrangle this back in. As the Nets, you've put yourself in prime position to land two of the best free agents in the best free agency class we've ever seen.
And you're probably automatically
You're a playoff team already, and there's a very high likelihood that you get Kyrie, which influences Kevin Durant even more.
Yeah.
All at the cost of smart planning by your front office for years now. Credit to them, credit to their GM for turning things around. This was a team that was mocked incessantly for that Paul Pierce trade. Yeah. The Celtics robbing them, just absolutely getting everything out of them. And meanwhile, now it looks like they are prepared and they are ready, and it just everything is coming up Nets right now, and I love them.
Everything is coming up Millhouse.
They were one of, I know Sean and I, we had them pegged as one of our favorite teams the last couple of years. We love their picks, we love what they're doing, love the talent. So that offseason, I mean, this is just they're kicking in the front door. This is dope. Let's flip it over though. Let's go to the Hawks. This is a team where, I mean, this last year, Trae Young blew all expectations. We know he was going to be good offensively. We didn't know he was going to be that dynamic offensively.
I said on a podcast the ceiling was the next Steph Curry. So I don't know what y'all were smoking.
The man,
because I was
crosses half court, and you got to watch out.
I was eating that, not even the Kool-Aid. I was eating that Trae Young soup.
You were all in on Trae Young. Credit to you, sir. He was the worst defender in the NBA by a hilariously wide margin. But guess what? Defense doesn't get you paid.
Thank you, Jabari.
Yeah, thanks, Jabari. That quote will never die. I love that. This Hawks team, though, young. They've got a ton of young kids under contract, and now they add in another great piece with that 17th pick and a future pick down the road. They've got ammo for days.
They've
Ricky.
got the 8th overall, the 10th overall, the 17th overall, 35th, 41, and 44th.
And now
3 firsts, 3 seconds.
Yep, and now futures.
Yeah.
Which is even better. They are stacked. You mentioned, I think they've got a potential Cavs pick if the Cavs make it out of 1 through 10 next year.
So next year's pick is top 10 protected to Cleveland. If it's outside the top 10, goes to the Hawks.
It conveys for 2 future firsts, or 2 future seconds. Jesus,
from Cleveland. So if they don't get the first next year, 2021-22, they'll have Cleveland's second round pick those 2 years.
Yeah, so they are loaded with assets. What does this mean for this young team? I mean, are they going to possibly use all of these draft picks and load up on even more young contracts and overseas players, draft and stash, or are they going all in on something?
When I heard this trade went down, I immediately was like, push the button on because the rumors were the Hawks and the Knicks making a deal where the Hawks would give the Knicks 8 and 10 for the 3rd overall pick, which would, for the Knicks, be good. They can get more ammo to possibly get AD.
I don't know if it is good for them because I don't know in this draft if 8 and 10 is more valuable than 3.
And that's the thing. There were two stories that were going around. Was one, they could use 8 and 10 to possibly get AD, but then there was another side that people are saying like they like Jarrett Culver a lot. So maybe by them getting 8 and 10, they were planning to use those talents to get 2 players in the draft to fit around Kevin Durant rather than RJ Barrett, the one player at number 3. And the Hawks would really like RJ Barrett, putting him in that lineup with Herter and Trae Young. I think what this does for the Hawks is they can now make a move like trading the 8 and the 10 and maybe a future first to try to move up to that number 3 pick for the Knicks. Like, I know Woj said as high as 5th. I think the sky's the limit. You're trying to go as high as number 3 and try to get that pick away from the Knicks. The key is at 17. I think they're going to try to keep that because then they could go and get themselves their center later on in the draft, because anytime I look up Hawks draft rumors, the one that I'm seeing that the Hawks like is Bruno Fernando out of Maryland. So, I mean, I don't know if 17 is too high for Bruno, but at the same time, if you like a guy and you worked him out, go and take your guy.
Yeah, there's a chance he goes anywhere. Pretty much, I've seen him anywhere from 14 on. So just post that Celtics pick. There's a chance he could go. I know personally on our mocks, we've not had him go early in this first round.
Not in a while.
And a lot of that is our preference. Like what we're trying to do in our minds is build around what our needs are, and we don't value old school great rebounding centers. And
I'll be honest,
to each their own.
When it comes to mocks, all of my mocks up until like this time of the year is based off what I would do. This last mock, I don't know about you. I lean in heavily to the rumors. So it's like
that's how I got Grayson Allen right last year.
Basically, if this team really likes something, like I'm not going to be like, well, this is what I would do. No, I lean into that rumor because that's probably what's going to happen.
I did that with, taking DeAndre Ayton number 1. He's not my best player, but he's what they were doing. So there was no choice.
Dave's like, I would have taken Luka, and
I would have been right. But no big deal. No big deal, sons. You'll get him eventually.
Yeah, like Tankathon has Bruno at 19.
Right. The thing is, if they like him, great. I would almost go for like a Claxton, though. I mean, everything coming out about him, being able to stretch it, being a great facilitator out of the post, I like his upside more. So I think I would wait a little bit longer, and maybe with that 35, go Claxton.
Thing is,
it's a risk.
Will he be there though? Because if the Nets want to go center, they could take him at 31. The 76ers could take him at either 33, 34. before the Hawks get there at 35.
It's not Hawks couldn't move up a little bit.
They could.
got
They've got the ammo.
Yeah. So on one end, they could load up on talent, or the other, they could trade up to get someone like an RJ Barrett. Ricky, which to you makes more sense? Because I'm on the fence. This Hawks team feels like a 2K team right now.
Keep the picks or trade the picks?
Yeah. Because think about this. This is how I play 2K.
Yeah.
Is year one, you're trading away contracts.
Yeah.
Get that long-term shit out of here. Give me draft picks. I don't care about my players that are established.
Give me that
Whatever.
complete roster of draft picks.
Give me draft picks. And then I'm going to go in there and I'm going to roll out my team with those young talented draft picks and let that team grow. And yeah, you're going to have to move some pieces over time because otherwise...
my monsters grow.
Go read Repulse on that shit. You're going to have to move contracts over time because they all will be coming due for a payday around the same time. But this is a chance to really load up and be like, look, we're going to be a playoff team potentially in a year or two. We're going to be uber talented. We've got our point guard of the future locked in. Herter looks like a great piece. Spellman looks good. John Collins is a freaking offensive monster. Like they could be thinking to themselves, they could trade up and get that next guy next to him to put them over the top, or they could continue to go more shots you take, the more you're going to get.
I am saying if it was me, that 8 and 10 pick are gone. They're out the door. And what I think is going to happen is they should have two guys on the mind. Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett. Basically what it should be is we target the 3 pick. If we make that trade with the Knicks, RJ Barrett is the Hawk. If they move up to 5, like in my mind, if they're moving up to 5, to me, that would be for Cam Reddish because I don't think Deandre Hunter would be there at 8 to where you wouldn't need to trade up for Deandre Hunter. And from what the rumors are right now, so going through the order, Zion's going to be a Pelican. John, knee injury, laugh. He's going to be...
It's a scope, no big deal, people.
I know. Like, there were articles that, like, could the Grizzlies pass on John Morant? And everyone was like,
how stupid do they be if they do that?
Gotcha for clicking on this article. Basically, was what it was.
I hate clickbait shit.
He's going to be a Grizzly. The question is then, with the
RJ's
Suns,
going 3. It's just a matter of who takes him.
Yeah, RJ goes 3. Darius Garland goes 4.
Seems like a lock to the Lakers at this point.
The Cavs, from what I hear, if they keep the pick, they really like Jarrett Culver.
That I agree.
So if they keep the pick, you've got Culver there. Then 6 becomes a question. We're going to talk about that on Saturday. Is if the Suns are there, who do they take? Apparently, they're dangling that 6 pick out for like a Mike Conley or a Reggie Jackson
as a piece of that trade.
Yeah, some like
not a standalone
veteran point guard. And then it's the Bulls. Like, if the Suns keep the pick and go Kobe White, the Bulls will probably go Cam Reddish. Boom, DeAndre Hunter's there at 8. So to me, the only 2 guys I can see the Hawks trading up for is that 3 spot, because I find it interesting that they trade for Crabbe, who, yes, the contract is also it because the Nets wanted to get rid of it, but shooting guard, and they give away what would have been their starting 3.
Well, Crabbe is a 3. They played Crabbe at the 3 this past year.
Yeah, okay. So you could play him at the 3, but also to me, it's like, either that you're trading the guy who was your starting 3 last year, and if Alan Crabbe is just there because the Nets wanted to get rid of his contract, how much will the Hawks value that? Or is the Hawks valuing that as like, all right, we just took you
He's
because
not a
the
bad
Nets wanted
player. He's just an overpaid player.
Exactly. I think if they move up, it will be for someone at that 3 spot. And the only 2 I could see them moving up for is an RJ or a Cam at 5.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And we've talked about RJ, how much he could help this team as a secondary ball handler, facilitator, and just dangerous scorer as he continues to grow. I think that one really intrigues me. I mean, it's going to be 8-10 and future value because I think 8 and 10 on its own is not enough value for the Knicks because they need to really go all in on Anthony Davis. And in this draft, RJ Barrett is more valuable than anyone who will get at 8 and 10 combined. So that's a scary one for me. It depends on that future value or if they have to add in, whatever else it becomes. That's going to be interesting. 5, I could see the Cavs trading back easily in this group, easily trading back for multiple picks. They're a young team, and they need to rebuild. And, I mean, I like Colin Sexton, the way he finished the year. I think Larry Nance is fun. I like Jetty. I like a lot of their younger players, but none of them are, like, you only have one lock, and that's Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And he is the guy who's under the long-term contract who you gave him to reward him for his time, but like he's always injured, and there's, trade rumors always around him. If he can ever stay healthy long enough for a trade to go through, I expect it to happen. I think that they could go for value. I think that the Hawks for the Cavs thing is the likely one to me. RJ, they might have to overpay to get him, but I mean,
they got that
it's
extra
an
pick.
overpay only in the matter of the fact that like you don't know what he's going to become. Right now, he looks uber talented. He looks like he continued to grow, be one of the better players out of this class. So I don't know, that one intrigues me.
I just like the only thing I just look at is why would you? This is a team that's already wheeled and dealed before. We know they're not afraid to wheel and deal.
Right.
I would be more surprised if they stayed pat and made all three picks rather than.
Let's
if they
cover that.
traded,
Worst case scenario, they call and the Knicks are like, we want 17 firsts. I'm like, all right, fuck off, Knicks. Like, you're not getting Anthony Davis this year. You're not getting Kyrie Irving. You're not getting Kevin Durant. I would just slam the Knicks at that point and just be like, yeah, you guys think you want everything. You're not getting Zion either. I love that post, by the way. Was that Jake that dropped that in our Discord?
Yeah,
the photo
it was basically Zion, Kyrie, and KD in Knicks
all wearing
jerseys.
Knicks jerseys.
2 were X'd out, Kyrie and Zion, and he said 2 down, 1 to go.
So mean. The Knicks, the franchise that always expects to get something and ends up with Carmelo Anthony.
Hey, you got Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Yeah, they gave you Patrick Ewing.
30 plus years ago. So let's talk worst case scenario for this Hawks team. Say they're not able to move those pieces to jump up. Who would they take 8, 10, and then 17? Who are your guys that you're looking at?
The one caveat I will ask is, in this situation, are we saying the Suns stayed put at 6, or did they make a trade?
We're saying everybody up to this point has stayed pat, and that's unexpected, but let's just go with it for the sake of simplicity here.
I would say at 8, the best available would be Deandre Hunter. You add him because it's kind of like DeAndre Hunter would be the poor man's Cam Reddish in this situation. And that's not a knock at DeAndre. It's just the reason why I would think of Cam and DeAndre would be good fits is what they could bring defensively. And could you imagine having Herter's defense and either a Cam or DeAndre's defense?
It's huge for them on the wing.
Next to Trae Young, whose defense is non-existent.
Yeah.
Needs to be a little bit like Steph Curry was in Game 3, kind of reaching for balls. It's like, wow, Steph can actually play defense.
Steph played with effort. What is this crazy shit?
At 10, really depends on what the Wizards do. Like, if the
Wizards could go Sekou, Wizards could go Jackson Hayes.
And that's the big thing. If they go with Sekou, I think the pick then at 10 is Jackson Hayes for the Hawks.
You lock in your long-term center.
But if they go Jackson Hayes at 9, I think Ball could be a good pick for either.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. They can go Ball. I think
what about Sean's boy Goga or your boy Gorga?
Yeah, I don't think Gorga's that high. I don't think he'll go that high.
Okay.
Especially as the first center off the board.
Okay.
He's
gaining a lot of hype. A lot of hype.
He is, and I know you mentioned he got MVP for the EuroLeague that he's in.
I think Liga B. But I will confirm that real quick. Yeah. Go ahead.
But also, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna go wild card. The 10 will be a wild card. I could see a possible trade back at 10 if they keep it, because from what I'm seeing online is they really like Bruno, and that's the pick I could see them making at 17. So I could see them, you know what, at 10, I'll say that would be a trade. And the reason why I'd say that'd be a trade is somebody, whatever team you want to throw out there, it's basically a team that's going to want Brandon Clark, Rui, or a Jackson Hayes, because like there's a rumor that the T-Wolves have offered or have promised Rui. Yeah. So if another team wants them, hey, I'll trade up to 10 and take them before the T-Wolves can. If people think that, like the Celtics, hey, we want Brandon Clark, he ain't going to be there when we're there at 14, they can trade up with the Hawks. I think that instead of Jackson or Ball, that 10 will be a wild card. If they pick it, maybe like a Brandon Clark, a PJ Washington. But I could see that being a, hey, we weren't able to trade up. Let's take this, trade back, get more assets for this team.
Yeah, I could see that coming
They've already
down.
played 2K anyways. Why not
I
2K
know.
more?
That's my first thought is like, I just see them shifting all over the board. They're going everywhere, doing everything, like unlimited potential. God, I love that team. Like, they just have so many options because they've got, really just 3 guys locked in as their future. And they've got a couple others who are pretty good. But, you've got that 3-man core. You've got enough creativity to add in interesting pieces. And you've got the draft capital to take stabs at guys. Like, you could go, like you said, with the bull pick, that be bold, take a chance on someone who could be amazing or someone who you could whiff on him. But you've got the draft capital to be allowed to miss on him and not feel bad.
Like, here's what I see.
Yeah.
Possibility
Yeah.
of the Celtics have 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics give up 2 of their picks to move up to 10. The Hawks don't use those 2 picks to draft players. They then either trade those for future first or, hey, we're going to now take let's say they get the 14th and the 20 because those are the
14,
top 2.
probably 14, 22.
Yeah. Then let's say because there's a big rumor that the Hornets could be movers to trade back. There's rumors that the Pistons could trade back.
Everyone wants to trade back because this year's draft class isn't great. Just a FYI.
They could then say, hey, we're going to make our pick at 14 and then 17 and 20.
Yep.
They could trade up with the Pistons and get someone back-to-back at 14, 15. Boom. There we are. Like, it gives them so much flexibility. Like you said, like, it's a morphing blob where it's like they can do anything.
What I would pay to be a fly on the wall in that draft room. Oh, my God. That's an experience that you are, like, gifted.
The Twitch stream of us watching the live stream of their war room.
I would 100% pay. Like, if there's a paid subscription to get in there, be like, it's a pay-per-view for the Hawks draft room on draft night, I'm in. 100%. Sell me on that shit.
I wish that was a thing, but it never will because they're so secretted with draft stuff.
Even if it came out after the fact, I would watch it.
Yeah.
I'd be hooked on that shit like phonics, man.
Yeah.
It's
hooked on it like phonics. I like that.
All right. So we've covered the Hawks. We've covered the Nets. We start talking a little bit about other teams affected by this trade. This trade kind of sends out ripples throughout the whole draft. Who do you think is most affected by this trade? Who's not directly in it?
I would say the most. Ooh, that's a good one. I wasn't thinking of that. Maybe the Celtics. And the reason why I say that is one of the positions I have them going with is center.
Yep.
And the question is, Ball would be great for them. But I see someone possibly trading with the Hornets to go up and get them. Someone could even trade with the T-Wolves if they want and say, hey, we'll give you extra picks. I don't know if he'll be there at 14 for them. They're affected. I would say now the Pistons are affected, which would then affect, in my mind, the Spurs. Because the thing I'm also saying is that the Spurs could take 19 and 29, trade up to 15 to get a guy that they like. Well, now the Hawks could be in position to give the Pistons better picks, potentially, if they trade 10 and move back than they did if they move up. The big thing with the Hawks that I wonder is what are they going to do with those second rounders? Because
Eurostash.
That's even something they could do. Eurostash, they could try to package those to move up. I wonder if a team like, I don't know if the Bucks would move back, but like a team like the Warriors, do they move back to try to take stabs in the second round and try to find like their Draymond Greens? Do we see a team like the Blazers potentially move back? Because like depending on what's there at the bottom of the draft, or like a 76ers where they might look at it and say, hey, you know what? We don't got a lot of draft capital. Yeah. We now have to try to take our seconds to try to move up in this draft to get somebody that we really like. So, I mean,
this is
my favorite time of the year. I'm just going to say it. Like with all the flexibility now and everything moving, this is way more exciting than what the NFL draft was this year.
Oh, a billion times more exciting. And if we're talking drafting stashes, there's 2 names on most people's boards in the second round. It's Joshua Obese. He's a big 6'6" guard playing out of Germany right now, I think. And the second one is Davidas Servitas, who we talked about with John a little bit. I think I gave him a shout out as a potential.
Tankathon has the Hawks going with him at 41.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got two guys who are on the board, and actually there's two more who potentially could go in the second round.
Say the first name again?
Davidas.
The one before that.
Joshua.
Okay. So Tankathon has both. I just looked. I'm like, Tankathon has both of those guys
Going to the Hawks.
To the Hawks in the second.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Jesus. That's
They've got Joshua at 35.
Yeah.
They've got Davidas at 41. Then Jalen McDaniels at 44.
Interesting. It'll be interesting. I think McDaniels go a whole lot higher than that, but we will see when we get closer, man. We are counting down. What's the countdown at right now for
June 20th?
I know Tankathon's got it on the site. They've got it on their main page. That's why I was
at the
you
top
mentioned you were
of their
there.
page. They do? No,
I thought they had the draft clock.
I don't think they do. Because it's not showing up on mine unless they took it off for the tablet version. June 20th. So
right.
what? It's a 6 of 14 days?
Yeah, 14 days.
We're 14 days away from this.
I'm excited.
I can't wait for it. Now the live stream we'll be doing with the podcast right after.
Yep.
It's a good time of the year.
You guys,
and we're gonna be there for
out.
that because VidCon got moved, which is great.
Check us out. We'll be on Twitch live streaming for the Fast Break this weekend. We will be live streaming for Tool at the Game this weekend. And
it's going to be a busy weekend.
There's going to be drop after drop after drop of Fast Break news as rumors come in, as more trades happen. We will we want to give you guys every little bit of info about this draft as possible. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Actually, it's not even this week. It's for the special edition Urgent Draft Trade News.
This is the first one we've done since like last offseason.
In a bit, yeah. It's an emergency podcast. You got to hit the button. We need a button, like a big red, like boom.
We got the big yellow buttons for the PTP.
Oh, yeah?
We should buy big red ones.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dave would hit his and be like, "It's Rudy Gay.
It's fucking Rudy Gay." Yeah. Thank you, Sean, for that. We miss you. We will catch you next time. Next week.
I hope he's enjoying New Orleans and all the Zion fans.
Good luck with that,
because they're
Chief.
all over.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you next time.